Are you wondering how to even start this pedicure and how do feet even get like this? I'm gonna show you my tools and techniques on how I can quickly and effectively transform this crusty, dry foot to a smooth one by exfoliating and hydrating it. And at the end, I am going to tell you about how these calluses actually form and how we can help your clients avoid future callus. All right, I'm gonna jump in, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my Podoexpert shoe and foot deodorant, and I'm going to spray the entire foot. Since this is a dry process, I will not be using any water. So I have to make sure I am killing the microbes, and also, let's be honest, some of the smell. Throughout the service, if you start to smell anything, just grab your foot deodorant again and spray the client's foot. Perfect. This can go in between the toes. It's also diabetic friendly. Now that I have done that, I'm going to do a foot evaluation. I'm looking at the foot to see where am I going to spend a majority of my time. So I'm looking through, I have quite a bit of callus down here as well as some cracks. So these cracks here are called fissures, and I'm gonna tell you more about how these occur and what we can advise our clients to do so that we can start to see better retention and moisture. We'll talk about that at the end of this video, so stay tuned. We're also gonna spend some time up here at the toe, and I am all about working smart, not hard. If you are in the salon and you are using like a cheese grater going back and forth, your muscles are gonna be so sore. This is the Podoexpert Callus Softener. I am going to spray it on the entire bottom of the foot, and I'm going to actually rub the product in. I'm gonna let it sit there for 2 to 3 minutes. That is going to allow the urea to start breaking down the dead skin cells. This is really gonna accelerate my process using the product as well with the exfoliating tools to be efficient with my time. So I'm just rubbing that in, that way it doesn't gunk up my bits, and you really wanna let it sit for 2 to 3 minutes. My objective is to debulk this heel as well as the fissure as quick as possible. So I am going to use the Erica's Pedi Plus Debulk Kit. That includes a diamond extra coarse barrel, the tapered carbide, our corn sphere remover. Since my client is showing signs of significant thickness, I am going to start off with the carbide. When I have really thick callus like this, I want to be efficient. So I'm going to start off with a more toothy bit. This is considered a carbide. It is our carbide tapered Pedi bit. And what I'm going to do is I am going to go over the thickest parts of the heel. So here I am with a carbide. You always want to work on higher speeds. I'm in the forward direction, and this is a right-handed tool. So I am not rocking it back and forth. And the reason for that is we are running at least 25,000 RPMs. And I'm making sure to only use the carbide on very callous skin. I do not want to do this on the softer part of the skin because what it's doing is it's literally shaving down and reducing the callus. I'm going to look for signs for this area to start turning pink. I'm also going to pause every once in a while to feel, is this getting warm? We need to be conscientious of this because a lot of our clients may have neuropathy and won't be able to tell us if there's any kind of warmth. You can do the same thing with your diamond bit. However, diamond has little diamond particles, so it is great at exfoliation, which means it's not going to reduce as quickly. That is why when you have a pedicure like this, I strongly recommend having the right tools. That way you can be efficient. And working in one direction from right to left. If I go back and forth, that's like using the sharp edge of a knife and then using the dull edge. It's not efficient and you're just creating heat. The skin is just peeling off, and this is why it's really important to make sure you're wearing a K95 mask so you're not breathing in all these dead skin cells. Wonderful. I'm gonna get into this crack. You want to leave your bit flat against the skin, maximizing as much of those cutting blades as possible. And when you're getting close to the crack, yes, you can use your angle up a little bit. But what we don't want to do is like drag the tip, because sometimes these little fissures can be really sensitive. That's when I'm going to switch over to a different bit that's also in our debulking kit, which is the carbide Pedi sphere. And what I like about this tool, especially when I'm working in a fissure, is I don't have a blunt edge. I have complete visibility, and I'm gonna use this bulbous part, the belly, again at 26,000 RPMs, holding the foot, and I am just running. Look at how nice that is. I'm literally just carving like flossing out that fissure. Look at the difference between these two cracks of how well we were able to clean that out. We're also looking, see how it's starting to turn pink and how the skin is looking more supple? That is a good indicator that we have removed enough. So here we are, just tracing that fissure. No sharp edges, just using that belly. Rachel, let me know when it gets warm. Just using that belly to clean out the crack. And this is going to give me an opportunity to talk with my client about the importance of routine foot care. Wonderful. All right, now that we have done a majority of the debulking here, I can already start to see that the skin is becoming more supple. Now what I'm gonna do is whenever you're using carbide, it is lifting the skin up. Now what I wanna do to make sure when my client goes home, her feet don't catch on carpet, right? If you've ever had a pedicure where your feet are catching on the carpet, that's because the skin has been torn. So you're literally feeling live tissue just catch on your carpet. That's why it's really important to take a diamond bit, like the Erica's extra coarse diamond bit. We are going to soften those rough edges that we had created with our carbide. I am in the forward direction at 22,000 RPMs. Your RPMs are gonna vary depending on the type of your E-file, as well as how sharp your tools are. Diamond bits have to be replaced regularly. We say between 150 to 300 services. You're going to notice that you're going to see a lot more airborne particles with diamond because those little diamond particles are scratching the surface. I'm working in a circular motion around the foot. I'm making sure that I always have my arm or hand stabilized. So if I'm working like this and pulling up, I'm allowing the tool and the RPMs to do the work. I am hardly applying any pressure. When you apply pressure, you are creating more heat. If you create heat, there's going to be client discomfort. So let the abrasiveness of the tool do the work. So another angle is I'm using the side of my hand as the fulcrum instead of here where I was using my thumb as the fulcrum. If I'm changing my angle, which is really important, you want to make sure you're working with tools and angles that feel comfortable on your body. There's a lot of wear and tear. So what we're trying to do with an E-file is position you and your client where you are getting successful results, where your comfort or your client's comfort isn't jeopardized. So I am anchoring myself on the foot, pulling back so it's not ticklish for my client, and working in a circular motion. Diamond is dual cutting, so I am working it in a circular motion on high RPMs. These are signs that I am getting very close to finishing up. See how it's pink? It's more supple. This is exactly what I want to see. I'm also going to check in with my client and see how that feels. How does it feel? Wonderful. Now, I encourage you, if your client is just not sure about using an E-file on their foot, is to run it on their hand. We want to make sure part of getting a pedicure is relaxation. And if your client is feeling anxious about it, just take their hand and say, here, feel it. It's just little diamond particles that are scratching off that dead skin, and that is why a dry pedicure has to be done without water. We don't want moisture in the foot right now because we want all those dead skin particles just to fly off. So make sure you are covering your body, whether that is, or make sure you're covering your hair with like a surgical cap, wearing eye protection, and always a K95 mask. All right, beautiful. After I complete the heel, I'm now gonna work up here towards the great toe. I want you guys to notice that it's really only thick right here. I don't wanna use the carbide on this area of the skin because it looks like it's just torn. Because this is carbide, it's gonna be debulking, so only keep the carbide where you have the buildup. If not, your chances of creating heat are very great which will cause discomfort to your client. So be more meticulous on staying right on that callus, and if you don't feel comfortable with that, just switch to your diamond. You want to build confidence with your tools. When you have confidence in understanding different skin types, when you have confidence in different skin types and how your tools can perform, that's when your service time will decrease because you'll have a better understanding of what tools to grab and when. Now that I've used the carbide, I'm going to use my diamond not only on the toe and soften that area. Wherever you use your carbide, you want to be sure to always go back over with a diamond to ensure that you're smoothing and refining that area. Diamond can even go over areas that have no callus that you just want to smooth out and create a really polished pedicure. Because still, even exfoliating just a little bit, we're opening up that skin so it can really be penetrated by the product that we are going to recommend and the retail sale that we're going to get from our client. So some clients are going to resist, I want to soak in water. This is when I recommend focusing on a great foot massage. So when I get to the massage part, I am going to choose to use a product that is going to start moisturizing the skin. So I'm going to use the Podoexpert, and for this client, I am going to use the dry and cracked skin. You want to make sure when you're dispensing this product that you always keep it upright. That way the formula can come out evenly, and you're going to use a walnut size to cover the entire foot. And you're going to start to actually work that foam into the foot. Okay, so how does callus even form? It happens when the skin dries out and becomes flaky and cracked. Not only is it just dry, but the skin barrier is actually damaged. The healthy skin cell dies off and loses its elasticity, which causes more thickening of the skin. The thick callus build up due to friction, that constant pressure of the foot rubbing in the shoe. So the body is building up hard callus to protect the skin. You can often tell a lot about a client based off where their callus are located. Do they have callus around the great toe, which can indicate a too small or too narrow of a shoe box? Or do they have callus on the tips of their toes, which can often mean that they're a runner from that constant impact into their tennis shoes? I encourage you to offer clients advice how they can successfully care for their feet and their skin. Wearing shoes with a wide toe box will significantly reduce the friction and stop further callus. However, my clients may not sacrifice style for this, so I always offer Podoexpert products for their at-home foot care routine. Podoexpert is an FDA-cleared skin repairing mousse that moisturizes the skin without that greasy residue. The patented Lipid 2 technology mimics the skin lipids and repairs the dry, damaged area of the foot. A healthy skin barrier can retain moisture and stay healthy.